and welcome to the next instalment of my build video on the Renault 5 Turbo on the M05RA chassis. Today we'll be starting on parts bag C and going through steps 19 to 22. And starting off with step 19 is sorting out the RC electronics, and for this we're going to need various parts. You can either, depending on the servo you've got, you can either use parts P5 or P6, and then you need part P4, B5, and then metal parts BA3 5mm ball connector, and P1 is a sort of plastic washer. And then on the screw sides, it all depends again on what servo you've got. Will depend on which screw you have to get out. In my case I'm using BC2, which is a 3x10mm fine thread, because I've got a Metal Gear servo, and I've already centered it up, and hopefully, if you can see there, the notch for the servo saver part is at the bottom, and it should just be, he says, a simple case of taking parts P4 and snapping that over like so, and then your B5 part, which I've already screwed the ball connector in, because it only goes in one place. That should then clip over the top like that. You've then got your P1 spacer stroke washer, and then the screw, and it all just simply screws in, he says. Typically it's not screwing in. I've never had this before. Oh, there we go. I think I had it a bit cross-threaded to begin with. We can swiftly move on to step 20. Step 20 is installing the servo and the servo steering arm, and also a couple of plates ready to mount the electronics onto. So for this we're going to need plastic parts A6 and A5, and also A7. Now you won't find that part in this bit of the install guide. You'll find this extra bit of sheet that came in the parts bag A plastic sheet, plastic bag shall we say, and it basically says that this part here, A3, has been redesigned for some reason, and to enable you to mount the servo you now need this A7 to go in place, and then you also need these two 18mm by 3mm screws that do come with the kit. Again, they're in a separate plastic bag inside the bag with plastic parts A. So you need two of them, and then you need only two BA6s, which are 3x10mm screws. You need four BC3s, which are 3x6mm countersink screws, four BC7 3mm washers, and two BC12, which are your adjusters. And then you also need this steering rod, shall we say, BC9 3x89mm. So I'll build that up in a minute, but I think what I'll do first is stick these things on ready to mount all the electronics, and for that we're just going to need to screw them in place with these tiny little 3x6mm countersink screws. And the first one, by the looks of it, if we come back round here, there are two mounting holes, and if you have a look on the underside of this, they're raised up, so I think it should roughly click in. Yeah, it probably doesn't. No, it does click in, but it doesn't stay in, so we'll have to get these finicky little screws out just to show you. Like that. Again, with this steering rod, because it's not a turnbuckle, I'm just going to get the one side started and then the other side, and then just turn one side, and as that tightens up it'll start to screw in the other side, or if you feel like it, you can try turning it round. And I'll get on and get that to the correct size. Okay, so we screwed that in, wasn't too difficult, and once again there's a 1:1 scale drawing there for you, so you don't need to get any measuring devices out, you can just line it up like so. So that's all ready, so we'll now go and try and install this servo. And as I hope you remember from previous steps, this connection point here is still fairly loose, and this is going to be a bit tricky. I think we might try popping the screws and the washers through this side, like so, and let's get the other one in as well to hopefully hold it. I don't know, but we can but try. And then we can hopefully just pop it in and hopefully line it up. Right. Well, that wasn't as easy as I thought it was hopefully going to be because of the power and signalling wire, but hey, it's in now. And then we can just take the two smaller screws with the washer and tease the bracket in a bit. And then what we can then do is tighten them all down and then tighten these two down, and I'll finish screwing these two things in and be back to you shortly. Now the steering rod's installed and roughly adjusted, we can move on to step 21, which is actually fitting the electronics. As you can see, I've already cut the double-sided tape down to size for them, and for this bit we are going to need a couple of bits. According to the instructions, we need 2 times BC5 2x10mm screws, and actually the screws that come with the switch, these are out off the switch itself, are 10mm, so I'm going to use them because they're black, and the ones they supply in the kit itself are silver. We're going to need one off of BC16, which is a silicone-y rubbery dust cover for the switch, and then plastic part F10. Excuse me, bit of a frog in my throat there. And then obviously that goes in here somewhere, and like I say, it's a case of finding the best way of fitting these in. I think I will follow the diagram for the speed controller, so that the sensor cable, if I go to brushless, is easily get-atable, or the socket for it, and then the set button as well is also easily get-atable. It does mean this won't really push in as far as it could go, because of these two wires that come out the side. But I don't think that's a problem looking at it, because we've got wheels and everything here, so I believe that should be okay. And then I think for the receiver, I think that's going to go somewhere here with the aerial to the back, so that I can feed it through the aerial mount when we put that on a bit later on. So I'll just get on and do that. Right, I've installed all the electronics, and as I hope you can see, tidied them up a bit and set everything up, and yeah, I've gone for the setup as it shows in the manual, so I can easily get at the set button and the sensor cable connection, and then I've got the aerial facing the back, because I think at some point when I mount the body posts I can stick the aerial up like that, but it can stay like that for now, so we can move on to step 21, sorry 22 even, which is according to this, steering adjustment, and what it's telling you to do is to adjust the axles so that you've got a slight toe in. It doesn't give you any major measurements or anything. Looking at this, I do think I do actually have a tiny bit of toe in on that. And just for reference, as it says in the manual, if I turn this round slightly, to take these ball joints apart, it recommends you get some needle nose pliers on the end of the plastic connector, and then you simply twist it sideways until it comes off. And then, because they're not turnbuckles, if you undo the one, it makes the bar longer, and if you tighten it up, it makes it shorter. So you can do that on each side until you get your desired toe in. I might just undo it slightly, maybe a turn. There we go. Let's see if we can see a difference. So I think after that adjustment you can see slightly more toe in on the right hand side, And with that, I think I'll leave it there, and I hope to see you on the next episode, which will be making up the skid plates. Thanks for watching. Bye!